Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Black Summer, Season 1, Episode 1. It's called Human Flow. It is a new Netflix original. We will start spoiler free because it is an Episode 1. We'll warn you in the middle before we go into spoilers. But this is what we're going to talk about. It's a zombie show. It's a zombie show.
Because we don't have enough of those.
Which I learned actually after I watched it is a prequel to another show.
Is it actually?
It's a prequel to Z Nation, which is a sci-fi show.
What the hell is that? I don't even know what that is.
Oh, I've heard of it.
So hang on. There's a prequel to that on a completely that was on sci-fi as in
That's
the
in sci-fi, yes. I believe though Z Nation has like a Netflix deal for after it airs, so there is a tangential connection.
Right. Okay.
There is a relationship of sorts between Netflix and that show. So
Okay.
clearly it's fairly. I mean, it's not like it came up when I was watching it. It was like, oh, this is clearly a prequel to something else. It's just it happens to be set in the same zombie apocalypse as that show.
Okay. Fine.
But so we have neither of us have ever seen Z Nation, so who knows?
Well, clearly I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. So obviously we're coming completely as newcomers to this, having no idea what it was. Other than it's a zombie show, that is all we really knew. There was a teaser trailer, but I mean it didn't really show us much beyond people running from zombies and sneaking around. And
Told us it was a zombie show. Yeah.
yeah, so this first episode's kind of interesting, just in terms of how it tackles its pilot, if you will. Where
yes, its structure.
Its structure. It basically takes you through the 4 or 5 main characters one by one because they're all separate, and just gives them each like a sort of short episode, and then they all sort of converge at the end.
Some very short.
Some very short. Because the first one's like 10 minutes long, and I thought, we're going to have like 5-10 minute things, and then the second two were like maybe like 2 minutes each. And I was like, okay, they're not all the same length. Okay, that's fair. So yeah. I mean, there's really not a lot to say plot-wise before we ask like if you liked it or not, because it's the early days of a zombie apocalypse. People are evacuating their houses and trying to get to a checkpoint, and that's it.
You've seen it before, right?
That's the gist of the episode. Did you enjoy episode 1 of Black Summer?
I enjoyed parts of it. I thought it was really uneven in the character stories, and some characters were okay. Some downright annoyed me with decisions they were making, given the context of what I assume they knew. Some things like that frustrated me.
Yeah.
But there's some good direction in there.
There was the first one especially had a lot of long shots. There was a lot of oneers.
There was a really nice one following them through into the house and early on.
Yeah, there's some nice oneers early on. I will say, I feel the budget though. It kind of felt like they found a quiet like neighborhood they could shoot in because all the streets looked the same. Everything had this empty feeling to it. And I know it's a zombie apocalypse, but I felt like there should be more chaos. It's not, we're still early days zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
If it felt like it was just a normal street with a couple of abandoned cars, as opposed to like actual chaos.
It did a bit, yeah.
So that was a thing, and then it was kind of up and down in terms of other things. Like, I agree some characters were making stupid decisions. I also think there was one or two that had really bad acting sprinkled throughout. Not all of them, not everyone, but certainly a couple of them were.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of rough, and it never really did anything. Like, 'cause I got optimistic during the first couple of scenes because I thought, oh, some of these ones are quite nice. Maybe it's like going to be a stylistic show rather than a plot-driven show, and that's okay. Like, make the plot simple, but make it really tense and give us this journey.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I'm kind of bored of zombies right now. So a zombie thing has to stand out in some way for me to actively care now. Like we did Kingdom a couple of months ago on Netflix, and that was a very different spin on zombies. It was this zombie period drama, very different. Whereas this, it feels like 60% of all the zombie material in the last 10 years,
with one exception.
Okay.
There's almost no zombies in the whole thing.
Yeah.
You see like 2, I think. maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
And they don't even get to focus on them. And again, I could kind of like, if you want to do that, like Spielberg's War of the Worlds kind of thing, where it's like you're just focusing on the family. You don't get to see the bigger picture. You don't get to see all the other things going on. But again, it felt like a budget thing. It felt like we're going to make this very sparse just so that we can do this cheaply.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you.
That's the vibe I was getting. Yeah, and it's funny because I actually just I had a glance on the interwebs after I watched it. I was curious to see what people were saying.
Okay, I didn't, so.
And people were saying the character decisions get worse each episode. That they get dumber.
Oh God.
And
I was actively bordering on anger at some of the decisions in this one.
The one that bugged me actually was right at the start. It was the dad in the first story. He immediately was just like, literally all the problems that happened for that family in the first episode are because he just looks suspicious. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
If he just kept his cool, none of what happened would have happened, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
Like you must know what they're looking for because they seems to know to hide a certain thing, but he acts weird and it gets them in the shit. And
honestly, I have some problems with the wife's decisions shortly after as well. But I mean, we'll save that for when we're in spoilers, just to be safe.
I don't think I've got a lot more to say without spoilers, to be honest.
I don't know if I do either. It's not the worst thing I've seen. It's just really generic and a bit frustrating at points.
It's generic, cheap, and I don't think the characters are particularly likable or interesting, at least so far. Some of them are kind of annoying, some of them are just kind of dull.
Yeah, the best characters are the ones that I have no opinion on.
Yeah,
because they didn't do anything to annoy me. It's a scale of, okay, I don't care about them, but they didn't do anything wrong, down to, okay, they annoyed me.
Honestly, the only thing this show really has going for it is a couple of nice stylistic choices here or there. Like I like that one of the shots, kind of like the person that was actually the main character was someone who became a zombie, and we were actually just following a zombie for like a good couple of minutes. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a neat idea. Just yeah.
I
was like, that's a neat touch. Like sure.
Yeah,
they're all trying to get to a checkpoint. This stadium that they're going to. Which is fine, but I mean that's basically the plot of the whole episode. There's really nothing more to it than that, other than just what specifically happens to each character, which is they lose X person or they whatever. I mean that's mostly it. They lose someone. There's an interesting scene that I wish was better. It is hampered unfortunately by the acting. There's a scene where there's a woman in a car and a guy tries to like talk to her and ask for help. And I feel like this scene would probably be a 10 out of 10 if the actor playing the guy was even half
remotely convincing.
Decent, yes. Like
because his whole thing is, hey, look, I'll help you out. I'll get you to the stadium. There's no other cars around here. Let's team up. At no point do you believe a word coming out of his mouth.
Well, that's not even the problem, though. I don't even think that's the problem. I think the problem is just a bad actor. It's not about, is he convincing? I think he just sounds like a bad actor. I think he doesn't read lines properly.
Okay. No, my problem was that he wasn't convincing even at all because he was a bad actor. So how is he supposed to convince this woman?
We have two different complaints here. I think I need to try and clarify what we're both saying here, because I understand it, but I don't think it's been clear. I think he's a bad actor, so he was just... I felt like I was watching a bad actor say lines. It was nothing to do with what the intention of what his character was doing.
Okay.
Whereas you're saying that he's trying to act to her, but he was bad at it.
Yes, but it's a problem where I don't think the character is supposed to be a bad actor. I think it's the actor not pulling it off.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It doesn't have to be convincing. We could tell from the first line of dialogue that he plans on deceiving her, and that's okay if it's engaging to watch. If I'm like,
sure,
if I'm hanging on every word he says because I feel the tension rising of her ultimately giving in and believing him, that scene would be a 10 out of 10. It would work. It would almost work better if we could actually tell immediately that he's.
I get what you're saying. My problem is I thought the acting. It's not that it wasn't good enough to convince me. It's that I didn't think the acting was good enough to convince her. That was my problem.
I mean, she's desperate, she's scared, whatever. I mean, my bigger problem is not with the acting convincing her or not. My bigger problem is that he lies and says that he has a family right at the start. Right at the start of this whole speech, he says, "I've got a wife and kids. They're right back here. Can you give us a lift to the stadium?" Blah blah. And then he spends time convincing her and talking her down. Yada yada. And eventually, she says, "Okay, I'm going to slide over," and she lets him in. And I guess we're spoilers, but like, full spoilers at this point. Because I'm not holding back now.
Yeah.
My problem is that when he said, "Can you open the door?" the first thing she should have said was, "Well, why don't you get your family first?" She doesn't question why he's not going to get his family. She just says, "Okay." I'm like, no. That's the point. As soon as he says, "Okay, open the door and let me in," go get your family first. And sure enough, she lets him in. He sits down and immediately says, "Get out."
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, can I drive?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
That was the point where I got frustrated with her decisions. I was like, no, ask about the family. Where are these kids that he's got? He said he had kids. Go get the kids first. Let him prove his story was true before you let him in the car. I'm just, it frustrated me. It frustrated me.
I want to go back to the first story. What frustrated me with the wife's decisions.
Sure, yeah.
So, we clearly learn later on that you don't have to be killed by a zombie to become a zombie.
Walking Dead rules.
Yeah. You die, you're a zombie. Tough shit. And the husband has got a bad infection. He's there going, "Do you know what? I'm not going to make it. You got to go on without me." And she's like, "No, we'll be fine. We'll get through it. We'll get through it." And she, but she knows, and she's taking it seriously, because as soon as she leaves the room, she goes and she picks up a big kitchen knife, but didn't take any precautions before she left the room with him, even though she knew that this was going to happen. And if she knew this was going to happen and that he was this bad, but she was still fine trying to help get him bluffed through the checkpoints and go with the daughter, because she knew about this the whole time. It's what? No, none of this makes any sense to me.
Yeah. I can't argue with it. Right, those were the two key ones that stood out, because the other ones were really short. There was the one where the woman becomes a zombie and we kind of follow her and she's just kind of running around.
Which was her being hit by the car meant to be funny?
Probably not.
I don't like, because I laughed. It just comes out of it. She gets hit by a car, and I'm not. It might have been intentional.
No, I don't think it was though. I think you're being stupid thinking that was even remotely possible that was intentional, because this show does not want to be funny. There is nothing about this show from start to finish that is anything but dour, depressing.
That's why I'm questioning it, because everything about the scene, the way it's kind of nonchalant. She's standing there. We're looking at the boyfriend, and then she gets hit by a car that comes out of nowhere while they're worried about zombies. That's funny. But nothing in the episode tells me that there is meant to be anything funny, so I'm questioning it.
I don't think it is meant to be funny. I don't think there's not even. I don't even know why you would think it would be meant to be funny.
Just like I said, just the way the scene actually plays, like it's supposed to be funny, but that sticks out from the rest of the episode, which is why I question it. Which means you're probably right. It's not supposed to be funny.
I think it's meant to be shocking. I think it's meant to be lulls you into the false sense of security. Then bam. The problem is though is that we don't care about this character yet. We don't care about these characters.
We better like 30 seconds before.
Yeah. And then there's the other dude with the Korean girl. They kind of run around for a little bit. That was basically it. The only interesting thing that happens is they run into a house where there's a guy who's got like 3 people tied up, and he's got a shotgun in his hand.
Better get going.
Yeah, so I was like, are we going to get more of that at some point? Maybe, I don't know. And then the other one at the end, which went on far too long for what it was. This one was like 15 minutes long, and it was just, this guy's a prisoner. He's been arrested by the army, it's martial laws basically in effect. It's all army that's running around, and he's basically just talking to him and trying to convince the guard that's watching him to like let him go, and then he's like, "I'll let me pee." And we have this extended scene of like him trying to pee in the corner of the room, not being able to, then go to the bathroom. So then he ends up just beating the guard to death. That is.
Yeah, which I thought was one of the better directed scenes of the episode.
Sure.
The fight, I thought it was pretty visceral. When he's smashing his head against the counter, I thought that stuff looked all right.
Yeah, and then the end of the episode is just it says the check because each section has like the title of the character for each one. It gets to the end and it just says the checkpoint, and it's basically chaos happens at the checkpoint. The army runs off, they can't get through, and like a couple of the characters basically combine forces, like because the woman in the first story eventually met a soldier who she went with to the checkpoint. They team up with the guy who was with the Korean girl. And then the one who's just been chased by the other zombie. Like they team up, but not everyone's there. It's kind of...
no, that soldier was the guy from the pissing story. He took the uniform, right? Oh no, sorry,
No.
you're on about that one. I thought, sorry, you're on about that soldier at the start.
Yeah, the soldier.
I'm thinking he took the uniform as well, though, didn't he? Or he was going to? Because he looks down at it like he's going to take the uniform, right?
Oh, sure is. Yeah, the guy in that last story might have done that, but that's not him.
Yeah,
that's
no,
that's
not him. That's the guy. She gets rescued, right?
Yeah, the guy that saves her at the start when she's running from the zombie. So and then they drive off, and that's it. End of episode. There's like no hook. There's no. It's like
there's really not.
Two or three of the characters that were in separate stories have combined forces, and there's another two that have not met them yet.
It's the epitome of this is a Netflix show, so you're just gonna go on to the next one.
I think that's the intention. I think we're supposed to just immediately watch episode 2, and that'll maybe complete the opening pilot section. But I have no interest in watching episode 2 of this, so that's okay.
Me either.
That's okay. It's just really bland. Like it's not the worst thing ever. It's really bland, somewhat dumb characters, somewhat uninteresting visuals. Even though there's some stylistic choices that are nice, but there's nothing to really sell it to you. There's nothing to say, hey, this is why you should watch it.
Yeah, like I said, there's so much zombie material out there right now. You've got to go right. Why should I choose this one?
Shouldn't it be 3 Walking Dead shows?
Oh God, don't remind me. We're not even trying that third one. I'm not doing it. I didn't try the second one yet.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead, which is on its 5th season. We're at season 9 for the main show, 5 for the second show, and then we're going to air 1 for this new show, should it be picked up.
Which, let's be honest, it will.
It probably will be, yeah. They want Walking Dead all year long. You know, CBS wants Star Trek all year long. AMC wants Walking Dead. 52 weeks of the year.
Oh, let's be generous. I mean, 48.
Oh, take Christmas off, sure.
Yeah.
Take Christmas and maybe, like, I don't know, one other important
You
week.
get, like, 2 weeks off over Christmas and New Year's, and then, like, 2 other weeks scattered throughout the year.
I am between the shows. I'll take a week off between shows.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Yeah, Black Summer's not very good.
We're not doing it anymore.
There's some Netflix shows where I'll be like, okay, we're not really that interested in continuing it, but I still recommend trying it for yourself because it's easy to just watch a show on Netflix. But honestly, this one I'd say, nah, your time's better spent.
Yeah, as I said, if you want a Netflix zombie show, go watch Kingdom. It's way better.
Yeah. So there you go. That's Black Summer episode 1. Mediocre is the phrase I'd use, or the word I'd use. That's not a phrase. One word's not a phrase. Can one word be a phrase?
Well, one word can be a catchphrase.
True. So theoretically, it's also a phrase.
Yeah.
There you go. That has been Black Summer episode 1. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV, where you can support for as little as $1 per month. If you're interested in all Netflix reviews, we just finished reviewing all of the OA. We currently have Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Season 2 reviews going on, and there's other stuff coming up soon.
Probably.
Sure.
It's Netflix. There's always something coming up soon.
Yes. And if you watch shows on Amazon, we're currently reviewing Hannah Season 1. So was that too?
Yes.
So check out all these other things. But otherwise, that's it. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?